should you get and build TT? Short answer. If you watch this during her debut, probably no. Long answer. This entire video.
Nee, doctor. My name is rather tricky, so you may call me Titi, like all my friends do. But what you call me isn't important. I'm here to prepare my museum's new special exhibit. Are you and Rose Island interested in participating?
仕事を手伝ってほしいって？いいわよ。それじゃあ、ロダスのこれからの航行計画を立ててもいい？ちょうど近くで、とある部族の特別な儀式がそろそろ始まるから、見に行きたいんだけど。進路を適当に変えちゃダメ？そんなつもりじゃないけど、通り道でもダメなの？
TT, a feline hails from Sargon, and an honorary Minoan citizen. An explorer at heart, and a curator of Sargonian Museum, who strives to fix Sargon and Minos' relationship, after the results of Sargon's century-long occupation. TT is also a childhood friend of operator Pepe and Papyrus, and is currently accompanying the beast aristocrat named Mio. Currently TT is on board Rhodes Island, and helping us as a field operator. Alright, TT, who first appeared on Pepe's debut event, has finally become playable. And she is our second 6-star incantation medic, after the lovely Dragon Queen Redalta. Incantation medic is a medic caster hybrid. Although I always tell people to see them as a caster first, healer second. Because they can only do healing when attacking an enemy, and the healing output is based on damage dealt. Meaning the bigger the damage, the bigger the heal. But it also means trouble if they face a higher resistance targets. This damage first healing second has a very noticeable flaw that you should have already seen in TT event mechanic. Those fountains can be filled by medics by simply healing them. But incantation medics need an enemy to heal them first. And when there's an enemy, an incantation medic in the level of Reed and TT can quite easily defeat them before filling the fountains. So in general, not just this event, especially for newbies, traditional medics are often better to be used or built first. But this heal/damaging is also a good thing if you need, well, a healer damage dealer hybrid. And if the incantation medic is strong and tough enough, they are okay to be placed on a dangerous spot right beside the enemy. Especially with TT, who can easily inflict sleep. As shown in her tags, TT is quite the opposite of Reed. She is leaning more towards defense and crowd control. And her crowd control mostly came from all of her skills that inflict sleep debuff. Sleep debuff can stop an enemy from moving and attacking, as if they were stunned. But the catch here is that sleeping enemies cannot be damaged, although there are few operators who can damage them, TT included. But operators like TT are rare. So for most operators, they don't work well with sleep debuff. However, sleep debuff can still be an amazing crowd control tool, and while most operators cannot attack sleeping enemies, it still gives them time to recuperate, or readying up their skills. But the biggest downside of sleep is that there are enemies who are immune to it, typically bosses, which can significantly hinder TT's performance. Okay, that's her trade and a bit about sleep debuff. Now this is her general stats. Well, not much to say here. TT got average stats like a core caster. Her attack or heal interval is quicker than most medic, but again, her healing output depends on the damage she dealt. Moving on, this is her talent 1. Her ability got the foundation of a great sleep debuffer. She can hit sleeping enemies. Also, if she attacks stationary enemies, in other words those who are standing still, which includes sleeping enemies, her attack will get damage bonus. Additionally, this talent also makes all sleeping enemies, not just those who are asleep because of her skills, to take Art's DOT. This ability is very interesting, because her presence will lethalize sleep debuff. the art's DOT is considered as damage coming from her. So the damage can be increased by her skills or other buff. And if an operator is inflicting sleep, they can contribute to healing TT and operators inside her range. Next, this is her second talent. She will give attack speed buff to all Sargonian and Minoan operators. Which of course includes herself. The effect is indicated by that yellow lines around the operator. Alright, this is her potential upgrade list. You got stuff that will reduce her cost, improve both of her talents, and give her attack bonus. But much like many other operators, she's already fine without extra pot. As for module, TT got the X module, well not like we ever see Y version yet. Anyway, X module will increase her healing output, now it's based on 60% of the damage dealt. Additionally, it will increase her HP and attack. And the upgrade, it will enhance her first talent. Sadly nothing new, it will just increase the damage bonus towards stationary targets, and the art's DOT. This module focused on increasing her damage output, which also means increasing her healing. Not necessarily a bad thing, but the numbers aren't special either. It won't make her suddenly become God tier against high resistance enemies, or those who have damage reduction. At least not without skills. So anyway, if you plan to use her often, it's not a bad module to unlock and upgrade. But first you might want to see if you have operators who gain more from their module. Next up, let's talk skills. First, her skill 1. Well, not much to say here. This one is probably the worst starter skill I see in a long while. Compared to her other skills, it has worse attack buff, the sleep is RNG, and the skill cost is way too expensive. So next, her skill 2. Depending on who you asked, this might be her main skill. She stops attacking, but will put herself and another operator with the lowest HP to sleep. Yes, TT is the first one who can inflict sleep to an ally. And it does have some crazy potential. Because enemies will ignore sleeping operators, and they are immune to any damage, and almost all kinds of mechanics. And while TT does stop attacking, all enemies around her and the targeted operators will be put to sleep until the skill is over. Her talent 1 will also get a damage multiplier, and combined with her attack buff, those sleeping enemies will get some nasty arts damage. And operators inside her range will get a massive amount of healing. This skill also has a pretty quick cycle, and can be manually deactivated, so you have more control. Overall, while not her strongest damage wise, this is a very unique and useful control and healing skill. Lastly, her skill 3, which is considered the best in general. It will give her attack buff, attack 2 enemies at the same time, and each attack will put the target to sleep for 5 seconds. Then once the enemies who are asleep are awoken, or defeated, they will get hit by a bullet straight from heaven, with a big damage multiplier. And precise as to what the description says, it affects all sleeping enemies, so not just the one who is put to sleep by TT. This bullet will also put one nearby enemy to sleep for 5 seconds. So you can create some sort of chain effects like how Reed is with her skill 3. This skill also gives her a very interesting ability. Anyone inside her range will not retreat when defeated, but they will be put to sleep until they recover all of their HP, or the skill ends. Other healers can also help speed up this process. Quite useful to have if you encounter enemies or mechanics that can one-shot your operators. Overall, this skill provides a good mix of DPS, healing and control, as well as an ability to prevent death. I don't think there's a glaring issue with this skill, other than the fact most operators can hit enemies when they are asleep. For skill mastery priority. Depending on who you ask, it's either skill 2 or 3 first, but nonetheless she is M6 worthy. In general, her skill 3 is the first to be prioritized, especially if you need every bit of damage, or you're a new player who doesn't have many options for damage dealer. But as an old player myself who already has many units, I find her skill 2 more interesting and useful. The need to put herself and another unit to sleep happens a lot in my playthrough, especially in his mode. And it's not like it's a super nice ability compared to skill 3. It's still very good to bring in the most common main story scenarios. And yes, skipped her skill 1, there's really no reason to choose it over her other skills. And for her base skills. When in workshop, TT can increase the chance of making a byproduct when making elite materials. And she also reduces moral consumption of making gold tier elite material. So ladies and gentlemen, that is TT. Overall a good unit to consider. She is a good medic and caster hybrid, the easiest source of sleep debuff in this game, and has other unique abilities from her sleep. And while they serve different roles, TT definitely has more advantage on her Elite 1 abilities than Reed, which often makes her a better starter for IS mode. So why do I give probably no in the short answer? Well, sleep is a weird mechanic. It's a great crowd control tool, but the downside is that most operators do not synergize with it. And it's also common for enemies, especially bosses, to be immune from sleep. If you fight someone with sleep immunity, TT pretty much loses more than half of her advantages. In the case like that, Reed, who focused more on raw damage, might a better option to bring. Moreover, if you watch this during her debut banner is right before a top tier limited banner. So it's wise to save as many resources as you can for it. That should be all. Adios.